Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Rhett Power from Forbes.com. It's great to be with you here to close out Web Summit 2021 here in Lisbon. It's been it's been an amazing conference. It's been amazing energy around, just because we're back in person. And so I've got the pleasure to talk to you today. And Noella, you've done amazing work in the Congo, and you're changing lives. You're absolutely changing lives. So I want to talk to you today about Africa and the changing continent. It's the youngest continent, and some of the work that you're doing that's really making an impact. And so you run a school, you run an organization called Malaika. Talk about that a little bit, and talk about the journey to creating an organization. Did you get support from the government? Did you get support in the community when you first started? Talk about that journey a little bit.
The journey, it's, first of all, hi everyone, thank you for coming. Thank you to Web Summit for inviting us, and great to be with you. The journey to work in Congo, in Africa, it's so many challenges. But when you see the results, when you see the inspiring stories of our girls, of our community, of the mothers, of the fathers, that's what keeps you going, the human relationship, and to see them growing. So Malaika has been set up 14 years ago. It's an ecosystem that comprises a few programs. We built from scratch a school in a village where there is no water, where there is no electricity. We started only with 3 classrooms and 104 students, and now we have 400 students, and they all start at 5 years old until 18 years old. We're teaching them from coding, holistic curriculum, music, art, sport, environmental issues. The most important part too of a school is the nutrition program. These children maybe eat 2 times a week at their home, and it was very important that we make sure that they have a strong nutrition program. So they have breakfast at our school and they have lunches. But when you build a school, you notice that, 50 million of girls don't attend school in Africa. And when they arrive at secondary, there's a big drop-off. So you have a big task to really emphasize education on the parents, because the parents tend to push their kids to get married or to get pregnant. So apart the school, we built a community center partially with FIFA. After the World Cup, they decided to build 20 community centers. And the community center is really the hub for the community, for the parents, for the youth, for the boys, for the girls, where they come to learn to read, write, digital skills, entrepreneurships, and where we do a lot of work on the parents of the importance of education. That is important they keep the kids at school, the boys and the girls, and they can grow and be the next generation of change makers. So you have the school, you have the community center. We build water sanitation where we have more than 21 wells that we build, impacting 35,000 people a year. We have our farming where we grow our own food, and it goes back some to the canteen and we donate to the community. And this year we're launching our next project with Caterpillar Foundation, is technical classes. 90% of the youth don't have skills in the village, and we're going to build classes that will teach them electricity and mechanic and put them on the job market. So I'm very excited about this.
So I was involved in an organization called Kick for Life that was part of the World Cup Football for Life initiative, and I think it was one of the you have one of the very few sites. I think there were only 10 sites across Africa that FIFA built the pitches. Talk about how that FIFA relationship has changed maybe your perspective on partnering with other organizations and how they can have an impact and help you build yours.
You cannot do, Malaika has been 14 years, so you cannot do the kind of work we're doing without partnership. We have a lot of partnership, not only with NGOs, with individuals, with schools. And FIFA was a donor at the Malaika school, and they were very impressed with the work that we were doing, and to see the stories we were bringing up, to the impact we had in the village. So when they were doing choosing the 20 community centers all over Africa, they emailed me, Noella, we have only 2 spots. So do you want the 19 spots for having the community, the Football for Hope Center? Right. And I was like, my God, there's already so much work, the school and everything I'm doing, so much struggle, and I don't know if I can take another project. They say, think about it. And then we talk with the team, we talk with the community, because everything we're doing, we need to have the involvement of the community. If not, you won't be successful. Right. And I emailed them. I say, let's go for it. But then you have so much paperwork to pass if you can have this center and have big delegation coming for the next few months. They came to visit Malaika, went through our audit and etc. And I remember always it was in 2013, like 5 days before my birthday. I'm born in Christmas, so they emailed me around 20th of December, and they say, Malaika will have the 19 community center. And it's funny because I went 2 weeks ago to meet all the FIFA headquarters and the Secretary General, Madame Fatma Samoura, and I was really showing them that through the Football for Hope Center with one building, one pitch, toilets, we completely developed this community center. We added more classes. We have 5,000 people coming to study and play at our center. We're building technical classes. We did the farming. We distributed more than 14,000 malaria nets in the villages. Wow. So it became the hub for the entire community.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's really, it helps you build your organization kind of out from that. And I know for the one I was involved with, it really became the center of what we did, and that field and that pitch really became so essential to what we were trying to do in the community. And so it sounds like that's really sort of how it's helped transform your organization as well. You said in Forbes that the challenge of fundraising, what you have to do is, that it's hard, right? That it's difficult. And you talked about that in that article. Talk about what you've learned about fundraising in the last few years, and for other maybe nonprofits that are out here, what have you done to really help build an organization that people trust, that they're willing to give funds for and donate to?
Donors want to know where their money goes. You need to be transparent. You need to show the impact of the work. A lot of our donors came to Malaika, and then it became a word of mouth. To run Malaika, it's $500,000 a year, with all the programs that we have and all the staff. I don't take any salary. I'm the lead of the fundraising and the team. We had a lot of challenges the last 2 years where our donation with the COVID, the donation fell down of 50%. So you needed to be creative, innovative, you needed to think quickly. I was so scared to get rid of some of the staff and to not survive. And we were able to survive, and we were able to keep all our staff. The saddest thing in the COVID situation, we lost 3 of our students under 10 years old, because when all the programs are open, we can monitor our students, but when everything is closed, they don't have the phone, they don't have communication, they don't have a laptop at their home. So for me, that's the most emotional, hard thing. But to fundraise, the last few years, the fundraising completely changed. You need to be strong on social media presence, how you're going to reach through your newsletter, how you're going to keep the attention of your donors, of your volunteers, and how you're going to create partnerships, not only with NGOs, but with the private sector, the corporate, and the fashion industry. I've been working in the fashion industry for more than 15 years, in the modeling industry, and the last few years it's been really great because we were able to have partnership with brands like Roxanda, Net-a-Porter, where a certain collection, a percentage go to Malaika on the Women's International Day, My Teresa, They use me as an image, but they were donating to few foundations. So we're seeing the fashion industry starting to get involved in the charity where they want to be seen as donor and as giver, and that's really, really good.
How did your storytelling evolve? Like telling the story of like Malaika. I mean, I know when we were working with Kick for Life, over time we got better at telling the story of what we were there for and why we existed, and then telling the personal stories that really connect people. How has the story evolved over time, and do you feel like you're doing a really good job at telling people what it's about, what you're trying to accomplish?
First of all, Malaika, it's my story. You know, a girl that lost the dad at 5 years old. My mother couldn't keep me. I was the only child. She gave me away to have a chance to be educated. And I come back after 13 years seeing her, seeing the challenges of she was living, seeing so many children out of school. And when I go to Congo, it could be me. So for me to give back was important. But when I see the story of the girls or boys coming to the center where they sleep on the floor, when they eat only twice a week, when I told you that they don't have water, they don't have electricity, before coming to school they go to fetch water, and I see them growing. You know, they arrive at 5 years old, these 400 girls that are at school, I know every single girl. They arrive at 5 years. Now the oldest are 16 years old. They are full of confidence. They have personality. Lorian wants to be an IT engineer. Kaluka wants to be a journalist. Rose wants to be a businesswoman. You know, they all have the dream because we're offering them a platform to be now, through the COVID and before the COVID, to be in touch with the world through Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet. They have classes with experts in technology or art or entrepreneurship. We work a lot with Ernest Young on monitoring and mentoring the students. So they have a big platform where they are, the world has become one. And secondly, we have a lot of people that came to Malaika and mentor and offer their skills to train. But you know, what is very important in every organization is constantly training your staff, training your teachers, upgrading your curriculum. You cannot teach anymore the way you were teaching 20 years ago. The world changed. And Africa, we are so far behind. So we have really to push the boundaries to make this generation that they will not be left behind, but they be ready to be part of the world we're living.
Tell me one story. Tell us all one story of a girl that you've seen just a complete transformation about or with.
First of all, I see the transformation on these kids physically. You know, they arrive unhealthy at our school. And we're seeing them growing because we check their health, we give them the food, we are there for them emotionally. It's a hub where they feel comfortable, where they feel safe. So that's, for me, before even the success story, is to offer them this safe place where they are, and that we're becoming a family. I see, for instance, Marceline, when we were starting to build the school, she was coming every day to the construction site. And every day I was talking to her. And I say, what is your dream? And she said, my dream is to come to a school because none of my brothers and sisters will go to school because all the schools in Congo you have to pay. And I say, you will come to our school. And seeing her the first day, going to the school, wearing the uniform, eager to learn. And now she was 5 years old, now she's 16. She's a brilliant girl. She wants to be a biochemist. She wants to do her own business. But she says she wants to travel the world, see how it's done abroad, and come back and bring back here. And we have Louise, that is very good in code and maths. And one of the teachers at Harvard University really noticed she's very good, and they wanted to invite her for the STEM program at Harvard University. Can you imagine coming from a village and being invited to go to do a summer camp? And she's one of the best sports in tennis, because we have a tennis court. So she goes to do a lot of tournaments, not only in the Congo, but in Zambia, and she's one of the winner. And she she's very strong. And actually, last week, she went in Zambia and she lost. And she was so sad. And I was sad too. But
A good lesson, though.
but because she's used to win, and I say to her, in life you will lose, you will fall down, and you have to go up and go and train non-stop and be focused.
Train
and
harder.
It's good to not always win. And I have so many failures and challenges, and that's what keeps you going. Sometimes you pitch to donors and you don't receive the donation, or they're not going to choose Malaika. And even now it's even harder because the mission of a lot of organizations, they will say they will donate to the COVID, they will give only to the community where they're working. So the philanthropy completely is changing.
So what do you think the responsibility of the diaspora and organizations like yours is for, Africa's the youngest continent on the planet. And a tremendous, over, I think 50% or more of the population is under 30. What is the responsibility of the diaspora and organizations like yours to create these places where kids can get good educations, they can get health care, they can get a fair start in life, right, and be given some opportunity? Do you think that more of this has got to happen across the continent?
I see a lot of the diaspora going back in the continent, and it's great because they are not only giving their money, but they're giving their skills. All the diaspora that I know, we all help our mothers, our brothers, our sisters, so we all sending money, but it's beyond that. We have to. But what I say too about the diaspora, we cannot go back in our continent like we know everything. Because I have a lot of respect for the people living on the ground. They are the real resilient people working under every political conflict, losing their job, and etc. Like Congo, we got Ebola, we got the conflict for more than 20 years, and they are the real survivors. The diaspora need to be together and have a pool of discussion, how we can change, how we can bring, how we can collaborate. It has to be a collaboration and an expertise of various. And we need absolutely Africa to be on the boat of technology. We cannot be an AI, we cannot be behind. The world is moving nonstop.
I think I read something in I think it was the Financial Times, and you said, think big, but start small. What do you mean?
You have to think big, but with Malaika, we start with 3 classrooms, 1 well, 1 building, and then it grow. Because it's not every year we're reevaluating everything we're doing. What can we improve? What went wrong? And I don't want to be big. Malaika model, we're gonna share a manual how the organization can duplicate what we did, but it's important to stick to your vision, to your mission, to strengthening all your programs that you have, and really do step by step, if not everything fall down. Over the last 14 years, I saw so many organizations that doesn't exist, and even with the COVID, 4 organizations out of 10 don't survive. So what makes you different of other organizations? I hope we will survive for the next 5 years.
So I want to ask you one final question, and we're out of time, but I'm going to ask it anyway. You've been remote managing and leading for a long time, so the pandemic didn't probably change your leadership style very much. But what is your secret from so far away, because you're managing from the UK, an organization like this? How do you do it? Like, what's your secret to keeping a team that's clearly functioning really well at a high level? What is your secret to keeping people motivated and on mission?
You have to set by example. First of all, I'm a very hard worker person, so they see me working the team and they're keeping the same pace as me. They're happy when I'm in conference, I'm on talk. They say, oh, thanks God, no emails and WhatsApp of Noella. But you know what? You need to have a good team, and you need to trust them, and you need to take them the leads. and you have to let them think, teach them to be thinking out of the box, and constantly you have to train them. It was good that I was not able to go to Congo for 2 years nearly, because it showed the quality of the staff that we have. Our staff on the ground, they're all African, they are new generation thinking, they have values, they have heart, they have passion, they're hard workers, and it was good for them and for me to not be able, but we have an amazing international team too in New York, because the foundation is based in New York, that we were able to still keep fundraising, and we changed a lot of a style how to lead Malaika too, because in the world we're living, you have to think fast, and you have to care. You have to care about your staff. It's not only, hey, let's work, let's have a conference call about the management team and we talk together. We have to pause, ask them, how are you? Because it was tough the last 2 years. How your family doing? How are you coping? And this care. And secondly, a lot of jobs were lost. A lot of the staff, most of their friends lost all their jobs. And the fact that Malaika were able to keep them, they were very grateful.
Well, would you be willing to help other organizations get off the ground and share some of your knowledge with other entrepreneurs and people like yourself who want to change the world? Is that something you'd be interested in and willing to do whenever somebody reaches out?
Apart Malaika, apart my 2 children, my modeling job, being one of the judges of Ernest Young, I do help, and I'm sit on a lot of advisory board of foundation and organization. And constantly helping. My husband will say my wife will die broke because everything she's doing and helping so many organizations and people, she do it for free. So I do help constantly organization beside Malaika, and a lot with advice, a lot with my time, and a lot with my network. I like to share my network, and I like to share what I learn.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to you.
Yes.
And thank to the public. We don't have quantity, but quality.
Thank you for staying.